to another very exciting episode of the NestGen Xpress Season 3. We are live from San Diego Convention Center. This is day 3, the last leg of the show. And for this NestGen Xpress episode, I'm joined by Pete Coulter, Chief Operating Officer of ChangeAerial, a company focusing on drone-based infrastructure monitoring and lifecycle performance optimization. Welcome to the show, Pete.
Thank you.
How has the show been so far for you?
Well, it's been really good. I've spent a lot of time in the expo hall, just seeing a lot of new equipment, talking to the experts here, getting great information, and really happy to be here.
So let's just get quickly started with an introduction of yourself and a little about ChangeAerial.
Okay. So yeah, I'm Pete Coulter. I've been a researcher at San Diego State University, just right down the street here. And, we spent like 20 years working with NASA and NSF and DHS funding, refining a technique that we call repeat station imaging, which means getting a camera back to the same position over time and being able to quickly align images on a frame-by-frame basis and then compare those for change analysis. And we've taken that technology, we've patented it, and we've put it into a company, ChangeAerial. And we're looking forward to bringing that out to the world and getting people using it.
Interesting inception. So you mentioned that focusing a lot on infrastructure monitoring. So what are the current challenges or the current state of affairs, Pete? Like how are infrastructure monitoring happening today? Or what are the major concerns around it?
So if you think about bridges or electric utility infrastructure, there's kind of a history and a sequence of technologies that have been improving things over the years. People used to climb and get in dangerous positions and look at things. And then, there's helicopters and drones taking pictures, just in a manual way. Visual review of those, very time intensive. These days, it's more drone activity with machine learning algorithms that are trying to identify defects and problems that need to be addressed. But we think that evolution is not quite at the end yet. The next step, instead of occasional inspection every several years, you complete it and you say, okay, we're done, let's pack up, we'll be back in a while. We think that it's long-term monitoring, so it's more frequent image collection, and it's using those images smartly, considering the time aspect to identify defects.
Right. Definitely, I agree to what you mentioned, especially there's a very important need to increase the frequency, and I think that's where drone-in-a-box systems comes in a big way. So let's discuss dock. So how is ChangeAerial software enabling dock operations?
So ChangeAerial has two software packages. One is a flight planner and one is an analytics package. And so the drone docks and flight-based software falls really right in between those two.
Right.
So, we can do pinpoint flight planning. So it's oblique viewing images with pinpoint targeting on things that are features that are of interest, defining view angles and pitch angles. And then from that, and defining exact ground sampling distance or spatial resolution, generate camera stations where the drone will precisely go to a point, turn and point at the target, get that exact image that you wanted. And then from that point, those that you've got that automated flight plan, you can repeat that over time. So it's an ideal application for a drone dock where a drone's going to fly out, repeat this very accurate pattern, and it's going to do it over time, collecting these images that essentially it acts as like a fixed mounted camera where the image frames can stack over time like video frames. Okay, so that's what our analytics software does, is it aligns the images and then does a comparison with AI-based anomaly detection, indicates where those have occurred, and then we've got a viewer that an analyst can go in and look and see just where those detection results were, will validate whether it's real or not or of concern, and from there that can trigger a work action. And another interesting thing is that today's machine learning algorithms, they're really trained and focused on certain things, right? Hundreds of images are thrown in and said, this is what, a broken insulator of this type and of this color looks like. And it takes all this training, and the algorithm, when it's trained enough, it'll find that particular issue, but it's not finding anything that it's not trained for. And that's what the ChangeAerial software can do. We can detect anomalies very accurately, and then that information, like I said, can trigger work action, or it can also be used to refine the machine learning algorithms. So our approach really, we understand what something's supposed to look like and what shadow change and noise signals are, and we can pick out those precise differences that are of concern.
Got it. And because you mentioned AI, do you think ChangeAerial platform also does a lot of predictive maintenance or proactive maintenance?
Yes. The approach is really ideally suited for that because you're collecting this temporal stack of data. It's analysis-ready data that's very consistent. It's a curated data set that can then be used for predictive analytics looking into the future.
And if you had to talk about one key differentiator between all the other products or among all the other products that exist in the market today, what would that be?
I think it really is this ability to detect anything, any problem that's not specifically trained on.
Got it. So what kind of assets or infrastructure do you think ChangeAerial's products is best suited for monitoring?
So the algorithm is robust, right? It's general. It's been used for looking at bridge damage, road damage, utility infrastructure damage. So it does have a diverse base. Our beachhead marker right now is electric utility.
Got it.
Bridge is another great case where you're looking if a crack has grown and trying to monitor frequently if there's been changes. Another application that we're working with is microgrids, where you have self-contained electrical system with solar panels, batteries, all the wiring, but it's all self-contained. And when you get one of those started, you actually want to be able to monitor that with thermal imagery to be able to make sure that everything's functioning properly, that there's not thermal runaway or anything like that that's of concern. So, this approach works very well for that as well.
Got it. So I think we can end this with one last question, which is, what are the advancements or developments do you foresee with automated drone-based infrastructure monitoring, and what challenges do you think as an industry we need to overcome? Where are we headed?
So, I think there is just going to be increased automation. In some cases, regulations do need to be adjusted, and it's being worked on. But it's, I think it comes down to, systems like FlightBase where there's an end-to-end process, right? You don't just have the flight planner, you don't just have the dock, you don't just have analytics software on the other end. You've got something that combines those and feeds the data through. And when you've got that sort of automated solution, plus the ability with regulation, beyond visual line of sight, all that stuff, to actually do the work, then that's when impressive things will happen in the industry.
Yeah, I agree. There's a need for having a more unified solution rather than having fragmented systems, because a lot of systems today are closed. And that also reminds me, so is ChangeAerial as well as an agnostic platform, or is it just specific for a particular platform?
So yeah, ChangeAerial is data agnostic and drone agnostic. Our flight plans can be written out to the CSV file and, brought into any flight planner. It's just an XYZ position for the drone to go to, pitch and azimuth angle.
Got it.
And the imagery can be really any sort of imagery. RGB cameras, thermal cameras, different arrays. We can bring all of that into the process and do the change analysis.
Got it. Thank you so much, Pete, for joining in today. We are again live from San Diego, and we'll come back with another exciting episode, so stay tuned. Thank you.